Okay, today is April 16th. It is 6:31 p.m. and we're going into a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of Trophy Club Municipal Utility District Number 1. We do have a quorum. Everybody's here. Even Regina's here. Right? Okay. Citizens' comment. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the board on any matter, whether or not is posted on the agenda. The board is not permitted to take action on or discuss any comments made to the board at this time concerning an item not listed on the agenda. The board will hear comments on specific agenda items prior to the board addressing those items. You may speak up to 4 minutes or the time limit determined by the president or presiding officer. To speak during this item, you must complete the speaker's forms on the back table there. That includes the topics of your statements. Citizens' comments should be limited to matters over which the board has authority. We don't have any, right? Anyone? Okay. Number 1, reports and updates. Monthly staff reports. A, monthly capital improvement projects. B, monthly operations reports. C, monthly finance reports, including quarterly tax collection, second quarter, and quarterly investment reports, second quarter. Alan?
Good evening, directors. A few updates tonight. The FY 2025 waterline project, we have that bid, and we will be requesting a contract for the replacement of approximately 8,600 linear feet of waterline along and adjacent to Indian Creek Drive, St. Andrews Court, Lake Forest Court, Turnberry Court, Glen Eagles Court, Alamosa Drive, Monterey Drive, Silver Rock Drive, and Durango Drive. Again, like I previously mentioned, that will be in a forthcoming agenda item. The lift station improvement projects, we have issued a notice to proceed for that. The materials and submittals have been provided. I believe most of the materials have been ordered, and we expect those to be delivered in May and June. The hatches will likely be closer to July before we see those. The contractor has been out potholing at lift stations 2, 5, and 6 in preparation for the bypass installations, and we expect them to begin working on the sites sometime in May. The overall project, we expect them to be completed at the end of summer. Another capital-related item we did regarding the South Lake emergency connection. A few weeks ago, we had a meeting with a district engineer, and myself had a meeting with South Lake's engineering firm, and everybody is now on the same page. As I previously mentioned, South Lake gave their consultant the go-ahead to work with the district on that. Their understanding about the funding side of it. Their engineer is working on their portion and piece of the task order. They will provide it to our engineer. Once I get all that compiled and put together, I intend on bringing that back for your consideration and approval. I don't know if it's going to be next month or not, but hopefully we can get that moving forward, correct. I don't really have much else on capital, but on operations, I've mentioned to you all before, we did finally get the easement renewal approval from the United States Army Corps of Engineers. We do have we have 3 easements on the west side of the treatment plant that are on Corps property. They're very important and valuable to the district. That previous easement was a 50-year long easement, and it expired in 24. March of 25. It's taken about a year, but we finally got the final approved documents. I believe it was last week we got those. So we've got that new renewed document, and we'll file it at the county once we get the hard documents back. But the new one is not for 50 years. It only goes for 25 years, but at least we have the renewals in place and everything's cleaned up.
Better than nothing.
Another operational thing I want to point out, we did have a TCEQ compliance investigation of our public water, the district public water system and the town public water system. Everything went well. There were no issues identified or spoken or told to us while they were here. And as a reminder, those occur every 3 years. So I want to make sure that I thank staff for their continued diligence and prep work. So it's very important for everyone to understand the little things that the staff does every single day. The little documents, the paperwork, the filing, the compiling, the 50 years worth of data that he has to pull out of the closet every 3 years. It's very important for everybody to understand and appreciate what goes into that. So, Mike, I want to make sure I tell you thank you and pass that along to your staff as well. Very
How much
important.
notice did you get on their visit?
2 weeks. It's
Okay.
typically a 2-week.
Can we give that to Betsy? That's her name, right?
Say again?
Can we give it to our PR person to just say, you know, TCQ has given us?
Sure. Yeah, we can throw that into one of our weekly updates.
Yeah.
Also, wastewater system analysis, the smoke testing's been completed. Our main line and manhole inspections have also been completed. We're waiting to get that final report back. We typically get it around the April-May timeframe. To my knowledge, in speaking with field staff, we haven't identified, or they did not identify anything of major concern this year, so we're glad to hear that and report back. But we will use what we identify in that report to push into our wastewater treatment, or I'm sorry, wastewater collections capital projects this next year. Wastewater system improvements, all the point repairs and manhole repairs have been complete. The only thing remaining is we've got some additional CCTV that we're trying to get finalized on about an 850-foot stretch of 15-inch clay line. That is on the south side of the wastewater treatment plant that crosses the golf course. Just from the video, it looks like we need to line that section or pipe burst it. And so once we get that data, I'll get a task order out to have our engineer work through that with us. So very glad, very pleased. We're eliminating a lot of the potential future issues, and we're sealing our system up and creating a better product. So I'm glad to see that these reports are coming out and we're not running into a lot of detrimental issues. So any other questions y'all may have, we'll do our best to answer them.
When is the mailing of the water? Was it CCR?
CCR is mailed out in the July bill.
July?
June bill.
June bill.
Has to be posted by July 1st.
Right.
Okay. And then last time, I don't know if it was last meeting or meeting before, it was brought up, I think because of Jim's issue. Are we still notifying the users when the water is, you know, above normal, doesn't
Yes.
shut off? Okay.
They're going through and scrutinizing the consumption amounts to identify anomalies, and then also doing a mail merge of, let's just say there's 200 accounts that seem to be in increased use. It may only be 1,000, but they're going through and looking at those and creating a notification, hey, you may have a possible leak.
Will it also show what people are watering on Mondays, which is supposed to be an off day?
It does not, we don't have that. This is just the total consumption amount. You would have to actually go to each meter and do a data pull off of that meter to determine the specific days.
But you
Similar
can't
to
go
what we
by
did in
date,
Jim's.
Mike, if you pull up a date and say how much water did we use on this date?
So we can see how much we pumped total for that day, but as Alan was saying, for each customer, you would actually have to go to each meter and pull that data from the meter itself.
The town has irrigation meters though, right? The town has irrigation-only meters?
They do.
I mean, I know they're watering on Mondays because I can see, you know, that's just, okay. I think that's it. Does anyone have anything else for Alan? Neil?
No, not at this time.
Bill?
I'm glad to hear that South Lake project is coming along. In your discussion raised one question, and that is talk about South Lake's engineer doing work.
Yes.
Will we be reimbursing South Lake for those costs?
No.
Will we have that discussion?
So the easiest way and the most simplified way is they provide a task order and they work via our consultant. They bill our consultant passes that through
Okay,
us.
so eventually it comes to us. Okay.
It will be a not-to-exceed amount on the Freeze and Nichols side,
Yeah,
and then it'll be a not-to-exceed amount on the task order side for our group as well. But altogether, you all will approve that.
okay.
Jim?
Thanks.
You have any? Do you know, Mike, do you know of any Westlake issues with their lift station again off the highway?
I do
went by
not.
there a couple times last week and it smelled pretty bad. kind of like it did last time. Neil?
I was just on that tax due report. Obviously, this is just the portion they might owe in mud taxes. When does the county usually take some type of active role in trying to collect on overdue taxes?
I don't know the answer to that specifically, but I can tell you that when you go back and look at prior reports, you can see that the delinquent amount is continuously going down. I would assume that they continue to work behind the scenes to make sure that they're collecting 100%.
Okay.
We would have to reach out and get more specific data.
I'm just saying it's not just the mud taxes they might be delinquent there.
Correct.
There's
That's
city and
correct.
county taxes as well.
Well, I know there's a guy with an airplane that's been on that tax roll at least 10, 15 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And other property, they're commercial, that, they've gone out of business years ago.
Right.
So, and.
Kevin, without your microphone, nobody can hear you.
Thanks. In other words, you can't hear me.
I can't hear you.
Okay,
He didn't come equipped
yeah.
tonight.
Okay. So anyway, we were told in the past at our meeting that it has to go so many years before they can come off that report. Is that true? Or?
I don't know the answer to that. We would have to follow up with those questions. We can reach out to Purdue and ask them these questions, though.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? No. Okay, we're moving on. We'll do the consent agenda and then go into executive session. Is that all right, Pam?
Yes, as long as it's okay with the board.
Well, I just care about if it's okay with you. Okay. You're,
It's okay with me, for
You're
sure.
giving us advice, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
it's okay. Okay. Consent agenda. All matters listed as consent agendas are considered to be routine by the Board of Directors and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be a separate discussion on these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Kevin, you skipped number 2.
He's doing 2 now.
Receive update on the 50th anniversary. That's before the
Oh,
consent agenda.
You're in the meeting minutes.
You're in the minutes themselves.
We're right here.
Okay.
Okay. 2, consider an act to approve the consent agenda. A, March 19th, 2025, regular meeting minutes.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
And that's March 19th, 2025.
Okay, for March 19th, 2025, regular meeting minutes.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll second consent agenda item A.
Okay, I have a motion by Director Toomey and a second by Vice President Rose. There's no discussion, so all in favor? Show. Jim? Okay, unanimous. Okay, we're in regular session and we're going to go down to the executive session, which is Agenda 6. I hate reading this. Pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code, to consult with its attorney on pending or contemplated litigation or on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Open Meetings Act, or to seek advice of counsel on legal matters involving pending or contemplated litigation or settlement offers on the following matters. A, possible transfer of district assets. B, amended and restated contract to wholesale water and wastewater to the town of Trophy Club. C, interlocal cooperation agreement for administration of the fire protection services. It is 6:45 and we will recess to executive session. Coming back into session at 7:58, I'll call it, into the regular session from the executive session. And we will go to regular session agenda number 7, excuse
Do
me.
you want to do number 7? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
That's what I-
All right.
Does an echo in here?
No.
Okay. Number 7, consider an act regarding items discussed in executive session. A and B of Agenda 6 possible transfer of district assets and amended and restated contract for wholesale water and wastewater. There's no action on those two. So it leaves C, and a local cooperation agreement for administration of fire protection services. Is there any action on that one?
I don't really have an action, but just a general course of procedure we're going to do or look at. We want to amend now what needs to be amended for the fiscal year 2026 budget process that we're walking into. And then second, we'll work toward an agreement for the following year for 2027.
Okay, I
It'll be a
think,
two-part step deal.
okay, is that phrased right? Like the current one is for the 25?
It's for the 26.
Yeah.
26
Okay.
budget. The following one will be for the 27 budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Two parts.
And that's, it's really not an action, it's just to.
Just
have Alan-
advise.
Yeah, have Alan, our general manager, notify
Yeah.
the town.
Yeah, well, we can do that, yeah. But we'll work toward it and let them know that, this is what, the basic purpose of the statement's just letting them know that we're going to divide this into two parts. There are some things that need to be done now for the current budget process, so we understand everybody's on the same ballgame, in the same
Okay.
ballgame.
So there's not a need to vote on anything, is that correct?
That's correct. You'll take action at the time that you approve the amendment and the new agreement.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? I see none. Okay, we're going to backtrack now into the regular session, agenda item number 3, which is consider and take appropriate action to approve copier lease with service agreement and installation and authorize the general manager to execute the necessary documents. Alan, do you want to go over that real quick?
I can. The current copier lease that we have is set to expire in July of '25. We need to provide that termination notice no later than 60 days prior to that date. Due to ongoing maintenance issues and scanning quality that we have, we requested 3 new quotes for a new scanner. And as you can see below, we now have it based out on a fixed monthly cost, including copy fees, instead of a base cost plus copy fees. And based off of our average numbers over the past 5 years, by moving forward to Stanley, we show that we will likely see a 5-year cost savings. So what we're asking for you to do is approve this agreement with Stanley Systems so we can go ahead and get the documentation in process and have this ready to go before our lease expires.
I have a question on this. I mean, if you look at the numbers, I guess it's on page 33. You have the top one, which is the base cost is $11,989.20, and then estimate copy cost. What is that category? Because the other one's like 104, and the other two are like 5,000, 7,000.
That's correct. So the way that the current lease is that you have a base fee and then you pay for copies above and beyond at a certain dollar amount per copy.
Okay, so the top one, for example, would be the 11,989 plus the 5,
That's correct.
for a total,
See,
the
that-
third column?
That's correct. The estimated total lease cost is what you wanted to focus
Okay.
on.
Understood. Okay, I'll entertain a motion for this one.
I move to approve the Stanley System Incorporated copier lease agreement for a 5-year term ending in July of 2030 and authorize the general manager to execute the necessary documents. And the estimated cost of the lease is $17,325.43.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion by Vice President Rose, a second by Director Thomas. Any further discussion? I see none. All in favor, show of hands. Unanimous.
And please note in that motion that that was an estimated amount, not a max, because it may vary.
Thank you.
Is that okay, Alan?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, the next one is let me go to the top here again. Okay, agenda number 4 is consider an act to award bid and approve contract number 2025-041601 for replacement of water lines as part of the fiscal year 2025 capital improvements project and authorize the general manager to execute the necessary documents.
Directors, this project was advertised and bid. We've been talking about design for the past few months. We will be replacing approximately 8,600 linear feet along and adjacent to, including the cul-de-sacs from Indian Creek, on Indian Creek, on Indian Creek from Trophy Club Drive roughly to Forest Hill. We also will be replacing portions of Alamosa or entirety of Alamosa Drive and portions of Monterey Drive in Silver Rock. The project was advertised and a public bid opening was held on April 1st, 2025. 9 bids were received and are outlined in the attached letter of recommendation. We did have these verified and references were verified by our consulting engineer, and so we're recommending approval with XL4 construction.
Okay,
I was just going to ask, Al, there seems to be a real spread between the low bid by Excel and the high bid here, almost $2.6 million. I mean, is there a good reason that they're not all grouped in within some type of standard deviation of each other?
I would say that this is not uncommon. You can see certain contractors bidding higher. It depends on their subs. It depends on their project availability. It depends on their schedule. I would like to point out that the low 5 bidders from XL4 all the way up to Raymar Construction, they are within $500,000 of each other. And out of those 5, 3 have worked in Trophy Club before. So some of the other larger construction companies I'm familiar with, some do a lot of development work, and some may have just thrown a bid out there. That's the only explanation I can provide you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion and we'll do discussion.
I move to approve contract number 2025-04-1601 for replacement of water lines as part of the fiscal year 2025 capital improvement projects to Excel4 Construction for an amount not to exceed $2,390,127.00 and authorize the general manager to execute any necessary documents.
And I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Vice President Rose, a second by Director Toomey. And on my question on this, it says Excel Construction bid bonds, qualification, experience are attached to the letter. Everybody's looked at that, I guess.
We have that in the background.
Okay. And then my next question is, I mean, some of these roads that you mentioned, a lot of it's in Hogan's Glen, I guess, isn't it?
No, sir.
Andrews Court, where's that at?
That's right off of Indian Creek.
Indian Creek on the
That's the
right.
second one? Or the first?
Something like that.
The first one's Brookfield, isn't it?
Yeah, I think,
Basically,
For Column.
between
They're up there on the right.
Trophy Club Drive and the
Okay,
townhomes,
those aren't really that old, are they?
they are AC pipe and they have met their useful life based off of our schedule, yes.
that main line going by there is
You got to
really
remember
old.
that AC pipe has about a 40 to 45 year lifespan.
And Alamosa is on the other side in Monterey.
That's correct.
Silver Rock, that's by Lakeview, or down the road from
That's
Lakeview.
correct.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Got some discussion.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry about
last
that.
year with 2T Underground, we paid $229 a foot.
What's this one?
This year, we're paying $278 a foot. What's the difference?
So the main driver
That's
is
$50.
pipe and appurtenance size. So we have a whole lot more 12-inch pipes and valves, which cost more for those types of devices. Also, typically, we have bid, every single portion is open cut, and the contractors have come in and done by other means than open cut, and we've taken the concrete price and offset it by doing the open cut instead. So this year, we actually bid by other than open cut, boring, however, pipe jacking under sidewalks, curbs, streets, and gutter to make it more relative to what we're actually constructing in the field.
So that makes the $50 difference a foot?
It can be, yes, but a lot of it has to do with the pipe diameter and the size of the valves.
Okay.
Do we have a penalty if they don't come in by deadline, or?
We added penalties, we have liquidated damages, but we did add specific language for penalizing per day for any kind of delays, or if we have to shut them down. We were very specific on cleaning up requirements that we're going to review with this contractor during our pre-construction meeting.
And also debris along the roads and stuff like that. And then the last one, the question is, are all these residents being notified
Yes, they will be.
properly what to expect and what's going to happen?
Yep, we're going to have a pre-construction meeting, and we're going to open it up to the public, so anybody that wishes to come, they can be available to.
You really think someone's going to come?
I hope so.
I don't think so.
I'm going to hold it in front of your house, so you
We're serving
We have to
coffee.
limit our
We're
audience
serving
here.
coffee and cookies.
Yeah. Okay. I just don't, learn from past experience or lessons
Yep.
and stuff. Don't
Absolutely.
have debris hanging out. And then they'll do the temporary water lines
Yes.
down the roads and stuff, okay? Okay, so we had a motion and we had a second. You made the motion, right?
I did.
And then you made the second?
Neil.
Neil, okay, Neil. Okay. Any further discussion? I see none. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, unanimous. Okay. That was 4.
Went back to last year's.
Okay, 5. Discussion possible action regarding high service pump station generator.
Directors, I have a handout for each one of you at the dais. I apologize that you received this tonight, but we just received final documentation on pricing. We've been working, just so you'll know, the backup generator at the high service pump station, it has catastrophically failed and is currently out of service. We were able to secure a temporary generator and have that in place, but we need to make sure that we secure another generator as quickly as possible. We did reach out to multiple vendors, and we requested rebuild costs, we requested new generator costs, used generators, anything that we could find that was readily available. And our contractor that we had on site helping us via our normal generator PM and that we call for servicing and other needs, they were going to be working on some rebuilding costs, but they haven't been able to provide us anything on that. So proactively, we reached out to some different vendors. Fortunately, we were able to find 2 units ready to go today. The first being Holt Power Systems. They are a buy-aboard vendor. They have a 500 kilowatt generator and genset ready to go, but that will come at a cost of almost $175,000. Contacted Clifford Power. They have a 400 kilowatt genset with a tank ready to go. That's roughly $120,241. The good thing about that is our current generator is a 350 kilowatt, and the 400 will increase our ability enough without having to oversize our generator to where we can run 3 pumps. Currently, we can run 2, and we think we can run 3 off of a 350 kilowatt, but we haven't tried it. So the 400 will get us there. The other thing, too, is the availability. This contractor has already been in the process of working with us to get documentation ready to go, and they're ready to ship this item tomorrow if we give them the go-ahead. The 400 kW also fits our existing concrete parameters. We were out measuring today, and we can remove the old unit, set the new one in place, and we don't have to make any major modifications. That's a good thing. Also, it costs us $2,410 a week to rent that generator out there, so we want to move quickly. We want to get this thing in the ground, so we're not spending money on a temporary unit. That's just not something we want to spend your money on. So we're trying to move as quickly as possible. The last one that responded was Cantwell Power. They can get us the 350. That's what we had talked about. Unfortunately, this is a 12 to 18 week lead time. So even if we order one brand new, it's going to cost between $30,000 and $45,000 depending on schedule and the build of that unit, and that will cost you, roughly $130,000, $140,000. So it just makes the most sense to go ahead and move forward with the Clifford Power Generac unit that they have readily available, and so that's the request that we have tonight for you.
Well, you just said that the 400 is preferred over the 350.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we drive more pumps out there with
does
it.
that turnkey, it includes install, hookup, and all that?
So this one is including the delivery, and the freight is included. We will have to schedule a crane, and we'll have our generator contractor decommission our existing one and be here on site to make the connection of the new. But they will also be here to help through that process and the startup as well.
And they'll dispose of the old one?
No, so disposal will be separate. Discussion with our attorney, we'll set that one off to the side, and next month we'll bring a resolution back to surplus that one and try to get as much as we can out of that unit.
And you can get this right away.
Yes, sir. My intent is to get a PO issued tomorrow morning and send it to the vendor so we can get everything scheduled. If everything goes according to plan, we can have it in the ground and hooked up and ready to go by the end of the month.
And how are you paying for this?
Capital money that we have available.
Okay.
Capital projects.
Bill?
I move to approve the purchase of the Generac unit from Clifford Power through buy board contract number 757-24 for an amount not to exceed $120,241 and authorize the general manager to execute the necessary documents.
I'd like a second.
Okay, I have a motion by Vice President Rose, a second by Secretary Treasurer Harper. Any further discussion? See none, all in favor, show of hands. Unanimous.
I have a quick question. Those additional costs for crane, et cetera, and changing out, those will all be able to be taken out of the budget?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that brings us to 8, I believe, future agenda item number 8. So does anyone have anything on the agenda?
No.
Okay, how are we doing on the gathering? That's in May, correct?
Yes.
How are we doing on that?
Everything has been purchased that we had discussed. Tree, bench, concrete is being scheduled to be installed for that bench. And notification lists are in the process of being refined and sent out for that date as well.
Are they going to have something discussing prior general managers or directors or anything like that?
Come up with, in discussion with Directors Thomas and Director Harper, we're going to come up with some language that will provide for, I assume, the board president to read the morning of.
Whoa.
And any of you are more than welcome to discuss or say what you feel is relevant at the time.
Well, I think Jim Thomas needs to give a history lesson. He has a good,
Well, I'll be doing it from
read the one
Scotland.
that you had before, that you made up a few years
You're gonna be
back.
doing it from Scotland?
We
Yeah, I'm
have
going to
that.
be out of the country when this happens.
What? Okay. Well, at least it'll be published, right, somewhere?
I can
A
Skype.
PowerPoint or
So
something?
Jimmy, you got to go up back to mud 3?
Yeah. Okay, so, and what day is that again?
May 10th?
May 10th, okay. Anybody have any other future agenda items? I see none, okay. Next item, next regular meeting, May 21st, well, May 10th is the 50th celebration, so next meeting date will be May 21st, 2025. Anyone have any problem? Pam, you okay?
Yes, I am.
You're not going for any walks or flights or hunting, fishing?
I may have a business trip to Savannah, but I don't know when it is yet. So-
Jim, you gonna be back from Scotland or wherever
Supposed to come back on the 24th. I mean, on the 20th, excuse me.
on the 20th? Okay. Neil, you okay?
Oh, fine.
I'm good.
You gonna be in town or fly in?
No, I'm here.
Okay. Okay. Let's see, we adjourn at 8:18.